Hello, good people. This is Darrell with Personal Credit Solutions coming at you with another video. And we are here to provide credit education for beginners and for advanced consumers. The purpose of our YouTube videos is to provide credit education to all of our clients and to help you guys better understand the credit repair process. So let's get started. Today we're going to talk about the difference between Vantage scores and FICO scores. So this is a very important topic that I, of course, have to advise on quite a bit. So we're going to take a look at it today, and hopefully I can issue this video out and help you guys understand it. We'll try to keep it short. So you might notice I talk fast a lot in the videos, and that's just to keep them short. So first of all, what are the things that affect your FICO scores? Now this is a good example, all right? This information is all over the place on your credit card sites, Credit Karma, Experian, Credit Sesame, all of these companies, MyFICO, provide really good information about to help you understand your credit. There's valuable information out there, okay? This is quite a bit. So this is a mixture of those different sites, and I put this together as a newsletter that goes out from time to time as an email for everyone. So these are some of the factors that affect your scores. This is the number one, proportion of loan balances to loan amounts. Actually, that's not the number one. The number one is credit cards, right? We've talked about that before. These are a couple of things that you see are affecting this score right here. This is a real score for someone that is being given to them by their Citi Double Cash card. So length of times the accounts have been established is important, as well as the loan balances. But let's take a look at the actual 5 factors. Now there's a previous video that I made that really goes into detail of the 5 factors that affect your credit. This is the one that I always tell people to focus on right here. Okay? This one here is the most important one. When we talk about the 30% rule, the 30% ratio, that is going to be based on your revolving accounts. Revolving accounts are credit cards, credit lines, and charge cards. And for those of you who don't know, charge cards are like credit cards. You can just use them at the store. Okay, so if it's a Belt card or JCPenney or Fingerhut, you can only use charge cards at the store to purchase from the bank, the provider of the account. Let's put it that way. So you can see that they call 670 to 739 good on the FICO score side. And that is really considered very, very good when you're out qualifying. So what I want you to remember is that the credit score factors are a lot more strict than the actual banks. So a bank is going to look at anybody in this range and consider them to have A credit or A plus credit. Now, of course, it's definitely good. I mean, to switch away there. It's definitely good if you have more, right? If you have a higher score. So you're definitely going to be in much better shape. I don't like that 900 because the FICO score goes up to 850. So I'm not sure why they have that there. But let's just continue on. All right, how does the FICO score work? All right, it's the most widely used credit score by lenders. So all your lenders are pulling the FICO score. They are not pulling the Vantage score. FICO score is from a company formerly known as Fair Isaac Corporation. So that's where the FICO comes from, Fair Isaac Corporation. And it's the company that invented the FICO scores. Started in the 50s, and they sparked a revolution in credit risk assessment. So this is how your risk is assessed by your credit score. There's a math algorithm that is used to figure out what is going to be your score. And what is that algorithm based on? These 5 factors. 15% is the length of credit history. 10% is inquiries or new credit accounts. 10% is credit mix or types of credit. So this is basically saying the more different types of credit you have, like personal loans, student loans, credit cards, charge cards, mortgages. So the different types of credit that you can have make up 10% of your score when you have a nice mix. Now we all know paying your bills on time is the number one thing, right? 35%. So your credit card balance is staying under 30%, and your payment history being good is 65% of your score. You can't beat that. If you add length of history, that's 80% of your score. Those are the things you want to focus on. I don't want to read all this information because I want it to be quick. Let's take a look at this here. Why do I have more than one score? Basically, the 3 credit bureaus are based on the regions of the country that you live in. So as it says here, the FICO model is used to generate your credit score based on information from your credit report. We know that. Since each credit bureau uses its own formula, your FICO score can vary depending on which bureau supplies information and depending on what part of the country you live in. Typically, East Coast is going to be using Equifax the most. West Coast is going to be using TransUnion the most, and Midwest, central part of the country will be using Experian the most. This is a nice little video here that goes over an explanation of the FICO score, but we don't need to do that. Now let's talk about the Vantage Score. Now this is a score that the Vantage Score, I'll just read it, is a consumer credit score that is a competitor to FICO. It's used by lenders, landlords, and credit card users. Now it's very few credit card users, landlords, and lenders use it. Most of them are using the FICO score, but they're saying that here because there are some lenders who do use the Vantage Score. That is a credit score jointly developed by the 3 credit bureaus. So go figure. The 3 credit bureaus make up the Vantage Score, and almost nobody uses that score. Everyone uses the FICO score, right? And the Vantage Score was made up by the 3 bureaus. Credit bureaus are Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. And as I say here, there's a math algorithm used to create the Vantage Score, which is also used to create the FICO score. Let's look at some of the differences here. In the spirit of keeping the video short, we're going to go ahead and go through this quickly. The Vantage Score ranges between 300 and 850, and these are the similarities. The FICO is also 300 to 850. Remember, we saw that 900. So we know it doesn't go up to 900, 300 to 850. They both provide easy to read scores for millions of consumers. Now here's the differences. The Vantage Score is made up by the credit bureaus. Now hear me out when I say almost no one pulls the Vantage Score. They're given to you free because they're given to you by sites such as Credit Karma, which is owned by TransUnion, and Credit Sesame, and what's another popular one? Credit Wise. You know, these companies are providing Vantage Scores, and they're not going to be the same. Usually, I find that if you have credit issues, they can be anywhere from 20 to 50 points difference between your Vantage Score and your FICO score. So usually your Vantage Score will be higher when you have credit issues, and then you'll go check on your credit with a lender, and they'll say it's much lower, right? So the FICO score is usually going to be lower. So you really have to build your FICO score. You can analyze thin files with the Vantage Score. So even if you have 1 or 2 credit items, they're basically saying they can get you a score using this model. FICO scores can sometimes tell you we don't have a score for you until you have more credit. There are different models that can vary, that can cause a score to vary there. Okay, so you remember when we were right here looking at the 5 factors of your FICO scores, and we see the 30, 35, 10, 10, and 15. For Vantage scores, it's a different set of numbers, right? So your payment history is 40% with the Vantage score. The mix is 21. Credit utilization is 20. 11 for your balances. 5 for credit applications. 3 for available credit. So it's a really big difference there, right? And if you look at the Vantage score factors, you can review this later. I think I might shrink it a little bit to make it all fit. You can see that Vantage Score prefers to describe factors in terms of extremely influential down to less influential, which gives it more categories. So you, instead of 5, you have, what is that, 7? It's actually 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different categories that make up the Vantage Score. You can read those: payment history, depth of credit, utilization, balances, inquiries or recent credit applications, sorry about that, and available credit. And then here's a nice little chart that breaks it down a little bit, shows you that there's more weight given in certain areas, right? So poor credit is 550 to 649 here with the Vantage Score, and 580 to 669 with the FICO, and you can see how it goes up. All right, so I do not want to stay on this too much, but I'm just gonna scroll through the main points here, which, as you can see, the Vantage Score requirements have 6 different factors, whereas the FICO Score requirements have 5. So keep that in mind. The number one thing to remember here is nobody pulls your FICO Score, hardly at all. So you won't have creditors looking at that Credit Karma score, looking at your Credit Sesame score. That's not going to hold much weight in the financial market. You want to focus on your FICO scores and look for services like Experian.com or FreeCreditReport.com that will offer you your FICO score free. Okay, MyFICO.com does not. It's about $39, $40 for your 3 credit scores, and that's monthly. You have a couple of other services, but if you need any help with that, just let me know. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and close this video out. And we have finally been able to get that video out to you guys to tell you the differences between the Vantage Score and the FICO Score. And I hope you all have a good one. Thanks for watching the video.